Welcome to Foxtrot Uniform, where we share the powerful stories of veterans and their families. I'm Mike Turbyfill, a veteran committed to highlighting the impact of military life and advocating for the support our heroes deserve. Join us as we bring these voices to the forefront and ensure they get the help they need from the VA and other organizations. This is Foxtrot Uniform. Let's get these stories told.
Why did you decide to join the military? Was there something that influenced that decision?
Not necessarily, other than a 9/11 happening, and I wanted to do something. I mean, initially what I was going to do right after high school is I was going to go make like $30 an hour, like Dad did, right out of high school working at the copper mine. And then 9/11 happened, and then Dad got laid off from the mine, and I was like, all right, what the fuck am I going to do now? And I was like, well, I think since we live in a small town and everything, military might be a really good choice. So I ended up doing that back in 2002. I did 10 years in the Army, 11 Bravo, because that's all I thought about when I was 18 years old.
How did your family react to that?
Not very well.
They didn't really care for it?
No, and I also noticed that I used to be very close with my brother, and after I signed that contract going to the service, we don't really talk anymore, sadly. But, like, he might send me a message here and there.
Oh, even now?
He might send me a message here and there on, like, holidays or birthday, but that's about it. Like, in my personal opinion, after I signed that contract, I don't know if he got jealous or if he felt like I abandoned him or whatever. I mean, I don't really know.
Right. Well, that's sad to hear. So did you go to training for basic?
The best, worst times of my life.
Yes. On Benning, except.
Yeah, that first night in basic training down there at Sand Hill, I was laying in my bunk like we all did, and I was like, what did I get myself into this time? Then I just hear like 30-year-old grown-ass men crying for their mommy. I'm like, I guess I'm not too bad.
Right. Yeah, I was actually stationed at Fort Benning. I was on Kelly Hill, though. I wasn't on Sand Hill. I was on the 3rd ID.
Oh, okay.
So you did OSET means you were 11.
Yeah, and I actually did go to 3rd ID Fort Stewart, Georgia as well.
Okay, so you was over in 1st Brigade?
You're making me think now. 3rd?
3rd Brigade, when I was in 3rd Brigade, and we were at Kelly Hill, but that was in 2008. So, I mean, they could have changed, because I know 1st and 2nd were at Fort Stewart, and 3rd were at Benning when I was in. But that shit changes all the time. Hell, my colors got cased a couple years after I got out.
Yeah, I mean, I know a bunch of different bases are changing their names, but I don't necessarily agree with all that, but I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't agree with it either, but nothing I can do about it. So what was basic training like? Do you think because of 9/11 it was they ramped it up a little bit, or they kind of stayed the same? Which I know you probably really don't know because you didn't go prior.
Well, I didn't go prior, but I mean, did I struggle personally with basic training at Sand Hill? Yeah. I mean, I think if you didn't struggle, whether it be the physical or the mental aspect of it, I don't know. You're a superhuman, I guess. But I'll tell you what, though, after that last ruck march and I knew I was done and everything, it was such a big relief off my back. It was such a big relief off my back during basic training when we finished that final ruck march that we had to do. and I just dumped my ruck right
Nick at
there
Night
on the
and all that.
ground, and I just laid there for a while. I was like, holy shit, I fucking did it.
So after you finished basic, how long was it before you deployed?
It was 6 months later after I graduated from infantry school.
Okay. So I figured you was doing OSET, but I guess they may not have been doing OSET in '02.
No,
One station unit training.
yeah, because when I got to the unit, they were basically done with their training for the deployment. They went to Irwin to do the training.
Oh yeah,
So,
NTC.
yeah.
Yeah, we went out there too right before we deployed, and I know for me, when I was probably out of AIT, well, about 6 months, and then we went to NTC. Then we come back from NTC, and it wasn't long after that.
Yeah, I just got to the unit at the time, and I was checking in and everything with supply and all that fun stuff that we got to do when we go to a new unit. Supply asked me, have you ever deployed before? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, get ready because we deploy in December. And this was like right after Thanksgiving.
Oh wow, wow. Yeah, you deployed real quick. So if that was '02, that would have been. Oh, that was OIF 1, wasn't it?
It was one OIF 1, yeah, because we did
Okay.
the invasion for Saddam's palace.
I was just about to say you were right in the middle of the shit.
Yeah, and I was glad when I ended up having to deploy again, and '09 was my last deployment, and we got to go to Saddam's palace once again after we stole his
Right,
house,
right.
and I actually got a picture on the throne finally.
So you deployed again in '09. I deployed at the end of '09, and I was at Fob Delta.
'09 we
Well,
were, let me think for a minute. '09 that was Khalil, Iraq, Cobb Adder Air
Cobb.
Force
Okay,
Base.
okay, okay. Well,
The Air Force ain't that good.
oh, dude. So I was at Fob Delta, which is an Al Cut, which was just pretty much an Iraqi air base we took over.
Right,
And but we had Fob Delta, Cobb Kalzul, and Cobb Shocker. Cobb Shocker was right on the Iranian border, and Cobb Kalzul was north of us. Um,
right.
but yeah, Air Force seat's good, man.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Air Force seat's freaking good.
but yeah, I had very good chain of commands throughout my military service, except for one, Fort Benning,
Mm,
or not Benning, but Stewart. We used to call it
right.
Fort Stupid because nothing makes sense over there.
Oh, I can only imagine. That's third ID all the way.
But
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So I didn't know you were part of OIF 1.
yeah, and when we went
That.
over there in '09, that was the beginning of the transition from OIF to
Mhm.
Operation Red Dawn.
No, it was Enduring Freedom,
It was
wasn't
still
it?
OIF at the time, but
Right.
about 6 months to a year after my unit left,
Mhm.
they just started the Operation New Dawn, the drawdown
Yeah,
campaign.
New Dawn. That's right. Operation New Dawn, Enduring Freedom's Afghanistan. I was there right in that period, right into the transition between Iraqi Freedom and New Dawn. I was there during that transition.
Yeah, and when I was over there in '09, I actually randomly ran into my sister again, which was kind of cool. Like, I was walking from my chew. We actually had
Hmm.
actual buildings instead of tents
Right.
back then, which was beautiful compared to those damn tents. But anyways,
Oh,
I was walking to the DPEC, and I just happened to glance over at the bus stop, I was like, hey, I know her. So I walked over to her and I was like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I'm waiting on the bus. I'm trying to go to the DFAC. And I was like, you know, the DFAC is like maybe 3 blocks away at most. I'm just going to walk over there. You can wait on the bus if you want.
Right.
She was like, okay, we're going.
I I bet that was cool.
It was,
I bet it was
it's
great seeing your
always
sister,
good
but
to
at the
see,
same time,
whether it be running into family or former people that we have served with, it's always like, wow, you're here. That's fucking awesome.
hmm
Because you never
yeah,
expect to run into people again.
no, yeah,
Like when I got sent to Korea for a year in '08,
hmm
I ran into my drill sergeant during
oh wow,
reception over there.
oh wow, yeah, I never saw my drill sergeant again. I would have liked to, man, because drill sergeant Ingram was a cool guy. That dude was cool. He was a hard ass, obviously, but he was cool. Um,
I mean,
So
Drill Sergeant Harden was a hard ass, but he was a hard ass just because he wanted everybody to succeed.
right,
I didn't see it back then, but
right,
afterwards I kind of got it.
right. So do you mind kind of going through OIF one and kind of describing some of that, or is that
Um,
something you'd rather not?
all the different deployments, we'll go with OIF 1, since you mentioned it. It was basically like the Wild West back then.
Right.
It really was. Because, like, our ROE was, if it's not wearing a United States Military Coalition Forces uniform, shoot them.
Wow.
Like, ROE didn't exist back then. But if you
Right. And that
go fast forward to like '09,
no,
oh,
ROE was
you have to
horrible.
have permit.
Oh yeah, ROE, but in '09 was horrible. I mean, hell, we got rocketed. We figured out who was doing it. We chased them down. We caught them, turned them over to OIF, Iraqi Army,
Forces.
and turn them over. And next thing we know, they're getting released back to go do whatever the hell they were doing. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. we caught them red-handed. We caught them, and you're just gonna let them go? You know? And
I got a
nothing we can
question
do
for
about
you
it.
though. Did you ever have any of the green beans coffee at the green beans coffee shop?
Absolutely.
So '09, I walked over because I just woke up one day and I wanted an iced coffee. So I walk
hmm
over there to get my coffee, walk out, and I hear that magical whistling sound that nobody wants to hear.
hmm
I jump down to protect myself, and I wasn't even mad about that rocket that flew over my head. I was mad that I spilled that iced coffee that I just damn bought. But that rocket, dude, it just fucking hit the fucking gym broadside. The cardio room in that gym on Adder was destroyed.
Right. Oh, I bet it's probably one of the Katusas too.
Yeah.
More than likely, because that's what they like to use. But yeah, I got my fair share of experience with that.
Yeah,
with
we also found numerous different cascades of weapons
oh, the
in
caches.
the porta
Yeah.
potties. In
Oh
like
wow.
the porta potties on base.
Oh wow. Wow. I didn't expect to hear that. Dang. Yeah, as far as I know, we never had any of that. I mean, we had a V bid. We had a V bid and mortars. We only had one V bid, but we had multiple rockets and mortars. Like, I mean, that was almost a daily occurrence.
But like going from F1 to right before Red Dawn, oh, that's like a black and white experience right there because
Oh, I'm
you
sure.
can't even compare them. You can't.
Oh, I'm sure not. I mean, going from the invasion to kind of just hanging out and eating pizza, it's
Yeah.
two different worlds, two totally different worlds. And especially with Third ID, because Third ID is who invaded Baghdad. Well, I mean, you were there, so
Yeah.
you know all about that. But I mean, you guys were on the forefront of that.
Do I still have my issues from my time in service? Yeah. Are we all going to have
Mm-hmm.
our issues from our time in service? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad I did it. At the
Absolutely.
end of the day, if I got a knock on the door saying, hey, we need you to come back, I'm not going to say no. If my body was a little better, maybe I'd think about going back in, but my body ain't.
Right.
I'm not 20 years old anymore, bro.
Tell me about it. So, is there one mission that stands out as being like the most significant or impactful that you are a part of?
There's no one mission that I can really think of that's like real impactful, but I don't look at like little pages of the book. I like to look at the big picture of what we did over there. And I mean, I don't know because
Nothing
I'm
really sticks
totally
out.
proud of what we did over there and what we accomplished and the amount of people that did come back from
Hmm.
any and all my deployments. For the people that might be listening that might be thinking about being a officer, I would suggest you go enlisted first
You're green to gold. Yep.
because one of my officers in one was he had like a graphics design degree and he
Hmm.
got fired real quick
Yep.
because three people didn't come home, if you know what I'm saying.
Hmm. Yeah, I get it.
And
Also,
I don't think there's any excuse for that.
not if I mean if you weren't making the right decisions, you weren't making the right decisions, plain and simple. I mean, you can't account for everything, but at the same time, if you got fired, there's a reason why I got fired.
No, he was just fresh out of college and decided, hey, I want to be in the military now. I know I just
Yeah,
have a graphic computer video game design degree, but hey,
right. At the same time, a lot of us, including the enlisted guys, we didn't have a fucking clue what we were doing. You
no,
know,
but we didn't spend 4 years in college.
that is true.
Like
Was he
I am.
like a?
He was a second lieutenant,
Oh yeah, so he was still fresh in.
and they
Yeah.
still put him as a platoon leader
Oh wow, wow. I mean,
on a deployment for OIF 1.
they, you got to learn, but at the same time, time and place.
Yeah, and the problem with
Uh,
that guy was he wasn't even listening to staff sergeants that have been in quite a bit of time,
of
or
course not. He was a second lieutenant. Of course he wasn't.
E4s that have had more deployment experience because of their Article 15s.
Yep, yep. No, there's plenty of that. I mean, plenty of that of the butterball or even a first lieutenant not wanting to listen to enlisted members because they got that degree and they got a higher rank than them.
Yeah, and the
They
sad part
don't think
about
that.
it, bro, is a lot of these people that, whether you're an officer or enlisted, they let that rank go to their fucking head way too fucking quick.
Yep. And a lot of times, in my experience, a lot of times the wrong guys get promoted.
Right place, right time.
It just works out. A lot of times it's because the people that make wrong decisions and to get Article 15s and stuff like that, that keeps them from moving up the ranks. But just because the guy's clean, don't mean he's the right guy.
Yeah, and my first unit ever, I had a first sergeant tell me, if you find an NCO with no Article 15s, you can never trust them.
Right. So
And
speaking of
for some
NCOs,
people that, and for some people that might be listening, an NCO in the Army is a non-commissioned officer, aka a sergeant. But there's a difference between a sergeant and a non-commissioned officer. A sergeant just does it for the pay. A non-commissioned officer really wants to help the people below him or her.
so speaking of events, well, not just NCOs, but even lower enlisted, E4 and below, is there any
Yeah,
particular person that had a lasting impact on you? Or
actually, my commander when I deployed in 2009,
Mhm.
so he was enlisted before he became an officer. And I have the utmost respect for the people that do that.
Right.
When I met him, he was a captain, our company commander. That dude retired as a lieutenant colonel. And
That's
I've
good stuff.
always had the utmost respect for the officers that go enlisted first.
Yeah, because they know what it's like to be in the trenches.
Just
You know.
like if you want to be a warrant officer in the Army, you have to get to like E6, I believe it is, before you can switch over to a warrant. I could be mistaken. I don't
No,
know.
I think that depends on the MOS because I was looking at going when I was in Iraq. I had a great idea that I wanted to go to flight school and fly rotary aircraft. I was an E4 at the time, and if I would have submitted a flight packet and got accepted, if I remember correctly, I would have been promoted to E5, and then once I got through training, I would have made a warrant officer one. If I remember correctly, that's how it works. But hell, it's been what 12 years.
Well, they keep on changing the rules around and all that shit lately too, so never know.
Yeah. Now, if I remember right, that's how it was. At least it was for pilots. I'm pretty sure because I was looking at the flight aptitude test. I was studying for that and getting a flight packet together. I never submitted it because I got in trouble, but I'm pretty sure I was allowed to submit it as an E4. And if it got accepted, I would have been promoted to E5. And then if and when I made it through training and became a
Well,
pilot,
that is kind of based on a command decision too,
eh,
in a
possibly,
sense.
yeah, possibly, yeah. Yeah, but I got in trouble, so I never had the opportunity to actually try it.
I'm
I
surprised I
got
didn't
busted
get
from
any
40.
more trouble than I did.
Oh, I got busted from E4 to E3 twice, and then I got when they kicked me out, they kicked me out as E3. So I made it E4, but I got kicked out at E3.
Well, I made it all the way up to E6, but when I just got completely fed up, my body was giving out and everything, I was just like, you know what, fuck it. What are you going to do? Take my rank?
Yeah,
Okay, take my rank. I don't care.
right.
From the
Yeah.
time I just started not giving a fuck no more, because I noticed that a bunch of the shit was politically driven and
Hmm.
everything. Um, I was like, you know what, fuck it.
Right.
'Cause I challenged the chain of command. What are you going to do? You're going to take my rank?
Yeah,
I'm getting
they
out
got
anyway.
well, yeah. I mean, and it's kind of nice to be able to challenge them, not worry about it, because then things may happen outside of you getting in trouble. Something good may come over too. You know.
Well, I was one of those NCOs while I was in that if I knew something was not right,
Mhm.
I'd take my rank off and say, hey, you take his rank, take mine too.
Right. Right.
Knock me down to E1.
Oh man. Is there any particular way you want your service to be remembered, like the things that you and the unit did while you were in?
Not necessarily. I mean, like I said, I'm proud of the service I did do,
Hmm.
but like my body started giving out and all that. It's more of a young man's game more than anything else, in my opinion.
Looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently?
I wouldn't change a goddamn thing.
Nothing at
I'd
all.
do everything over the same way once again. I'd still jump out of perfectly good airplanes for no apparent reason at all.
Okay, so
Just, yeah, I wouldn't change a damn thing.
yeah, I wasn't airborne. I didn't care for jumping out of perfectly good airplanes. It wasn't my cup of tea. Oh man, do you feel like the military influenced your values and your beliefs at all?
I think the military actually multiplied my beliefs and everything.
Okay,
I believe if I didn't join the military when I joined the military, I'd probably either be unalived or in prison right now.
that's
There's
fair.
still people I
That's
know that I went to high school with and cousins, family members, whatever you want to call it, that have been in and out of jail and everything since they graduated high school.
oh yeah, same here, same here. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I joined is because I wanted to get away from where I was at. You know, there was really outside of my mom and dad, there wasn't really anything good where I was. So it was like I'm joining the military, get the hell out of here, and I've been back since.
I was born and raised in southwest Arizona too, and we used to go to Mexico all the time, and can't do that unless you have a passport now. But
Right.
anyways, yeah, I grew up like 30, 45 minutes from the border. Go down there, hang
Well,
out for the weekend, party, come back up.
I was in Fort Huachuca for a short time, which in Fort Huachuca, Arizona, and we used to go hiking out in the mountains, and we'd find camps all the time.
Oh yeah,
We
without
all the time. Yep. And we were told that if we ever come across anybody, we were not to do anything. We just let them go.
yeah,
Yeah, we were not
sounds
allowed to do
about right.
anything. Yep. Which I was there as an E1 in training, so what the hell was I gonna do anyway? You know, I'm gonna get my ass beat.
Yeah,
Oh man. So do you mind talking about mental health at all, or do you want to kind of stay
I'm
away
all
from
for
that?
it.
Or
Let me just let my dog out of the bedroom real quick because she's
okay, yeah,
crying.
all right.
All right, mental health.
What's your experience with it with mental health as far as during and after? Like, did you notice anything, especially after OIF1? Did you start seeing anything after that?
Well, like OIF1, I didn't think I saw the signs then, but I was kind of in denial at the time about everything, which we all are. And then
Hmm.
'09, like it progressively got worse because it was untreated. And I actually, during 2010, I was on a medication for PTSD, mental health, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I requested to my NCO, hey, I'm about out of medication. I need to get an appointment for mental health. And they blew me off. And why do certain leaders in the military do that? Deny you that sort of thing.
That's a good question. I kind of asked the same thing because my experience with it is when we got back from Iraq, I kind of became a problem while we were there, and prior to going, I was the super hula, do everything, let's get the job done kind of guy. And then when we got back, I was a real problem child, and I don't know if they tried to help me at all. I kind of feel like I never really got any help or push towards anything. I feel like it was more of hey, let's just push this, let's just let him keep fucking up and push him out, get rid of him, instead of trying to see if there's something we can do to help him. That's kind of how I felt.
Like, and it's funny that you say that about your military career because in my military career, I felt the same way.
Mm.
And around that
And
time, when my NCO at the time denied me going to mental health, I was fixing to get out anyway. It took me about 2 years after actually, actually, probably about 3 years after getting out, after I kind of think about it a little bit.
mhm.
Because, like, I got out, I was like, okay, now what the fuck am I going to do? And I called mom and dad. I was like, hey, I'm out. I have no place to live, nowhere to go. And what I was told was, you're a grown ass man, figure it the fuck out.
Oh wow.
So I stayed on the, I was homeless for 2 months after I first got out.
Oh wow.
And then
Wow.
I have a hard time trusting people after that shit.
Oh,
I'm
I
in a
completely
pretty good
understand.
relationship now, but yeah, homeless for 2 fucking years. And
Mhm.
I mean, I don't want to gloat or anything about how I busted my ass and I live full time in an RV, but I busted my ass. I worked the temp day labor jobs where you get paid that day on a little prepaid debit card and shit like that. I did that till I had enough money for a tent and slept in a tent for a while, saved up money, saved up money, saved up money, and all that
Oh
shit.
wow.
But
Wow. Yeah, I can totally see why you would have a hard time trusting people, especially after your mom and dad told you that when you first got out. I can definitely see why
and
you
like
wouldn't want to.
like I said earlier, my brother, he don't want anything to do with me. He'll send me a text or something like that on a holiday or my birthday, but that's about it.
So during that time, did you seek any support from fellow service members or any veterans groups?
I tried. I tried so hard, bro, and I didn't really get the assistance that I needed or wanted. And there came a point in time where I actually called the suicide hotline with the VA, and those motherfuckers made me want to kill myself even more.
Oh wow, that's not something I wish that wasn't the case. Oh man, wow.
No, the person I got on the phone that day, it was like that monotone type voice, like Bueller.
Mm.
Bueller.
Right, they were just kind of there going through the motions. You're not really.
Like I didn't hear, see, or sense any sort of sympathy from him. Oh, I don't
Oh
think I
wow.
want to do this anymore. Oh, I'm so sorry you feel that way. And that was the time of conversation we had until that lasted about 10 minutes, and I was like, fuck this.
Hopefully, hopefully that person either figured out what the hell was going on and they corrected themselves, or they found another job, because that's not a job for them if
I
they
hope so.
definitely not a job for them if that's how they acted. So, what advice would you give to other, not just veterans, but just people in general that are struggling with mental health? What would you say?
I would honestly suggest whether you have a family member or a close friend to just confide in them on the mental health topic because you're not alone.
No.
And I've been through lots of situations, especially in my time in the service, walked in on what I didn't want to walk in on,
Hmm.
hanging from shower curtains, shower rods. I don't want to see that when I go and inspect your barracks room.
Right. Yes.
And no man or woman is so great that you should want to commit that act.
Well, and I think the biggest one of the biggest things is, like you said, is you're not alone. There is somebody. Take the chance. If you're that far, what do you got to lose to try to talk to somebody?
I've ran into some awesome people that I've met through TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Well, I met you on Warrior Point. Back when Warrior Point was still a thing. Is there a particular point in your mental health journey that things kind of shifted and you can remember where, okay, well, things are getting better now. Like I can see the light, so to speak.
I started smoking weed instead of taking all the pills that the VA wants to just shove down our throat.
Right.
It's like I can go outside or in the bathroom and do my thing, and I don't want to feel like a freaking zombie all the time, bro. That's no fun.
Yeah, they've got me taking Prozac, and thankfully my dosage isn't. I know what's happening. I feel like myself again, and that's fucking amazing. But I hear so many stories of guys like the docs just not getting their dosages correct or putting them on 10 different things and just it never actually helping and making it worse. I got lucky, I guess. I'm thankful I did.
But like for me, I've noticed that smoking really helps my mental health. I'm
Right.
feeling stressed or something like that. Yeah, I can just go do my thing.
Well,
Plus, I
that's a lot of
also
people say
have
that.
a plus I also have a service dog too.
Right.
She
Yeah.
is a German Shepherd Belgian 50-50 mix.
Yeah. I don't really have a service dog. My wife kind of, she's like, he's your service dog. That's not a service dog.
Well, that would be like an emotional support animal. Classified
Right.
as now.
Yeah. Yeah. He's at home right now. I didn't bring him with me this week. And normally he's with me everywhere I go, but I didn't bring him to work with me this week. And that's not typical. And apparently he's kind of moping around the house and kind of sad that I'm not there.
But yeah, before we decided to buy the RV, we had some stuff go down at the house down in Florida, and I love that house too. I didn't want to leave it, but it was kind of a have to safety family situation type of thing.
Right.
And we didn't trust my stepkids
Mm.
because they came over. They threw me against the freaking wall with a bad back and bad knees and everything. Accused me of stuff, and we can get into that later on a personal basis, but
Right.
they're the type of people that would go around and slash tires and put sugar in gas tanks, and we just decided, you know what? You want it so bad, you can have it. We ended up selling the house to the neighbors just to piss them off even more. And all
Oh,
we
well.
sold that property for was what was left on the mortgage.
Oh, wow. That
And
really kind of made me mad.
her ex-husband was supposed to get 50% of the equity. We gave him 100%, which was $160.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, man. So, well, you already kind of talked about the what it was like for you coming back into civilian life and the struggles about that. And so,
The
oh
VA?
man, where do I want to? Yeah,
Talking about the
what was your
VA now?
experience with the VA? I mean,
Okay,
uh,
2012 till hmm, when did I get out? Till last year. 2012 till last year. I fought with the VA for about 11 years before I got my 100%.
me and you kind of talked about that not too long ago, actually.
And I found out that you can't get any dental care unless you're 100%.
Yep.
And I found out from my cousin as well that even if you retire, you don't necessarily get dental care unless you want to pay for your own dental plan, give or take.
Right. Right. Yeah. One of my favorite things about the 100% disability is Champ VA for my wife and my kids. That's pretty important. That's pretty important to me. That they have an option, and I don't have to spend $1,000 a month on health insurance.
Right. But it's so
You know,
sad that even if you do your 20 years and you retire, you don't get dental care.
mm,
They want you to get 100% before
right?
they'll take care of your teeth. If you have bad oral health, the rest of your body is going to suffer. Because that
Interesting.
infection, if you got an infection in your mouth, it will spread throughout your body, through your bloodstream and everything. I mean,
Hmm.
look at my arms. That's from
Yeah.
that damn infection in my mouth that I had.
Oh wow. Well, at
And
least you
I had
finally got that
VA
taken care
doctors
of.
telling me, oh, it might be cancer. I'm like, gee, thanks for telling me that. That's going to boost my confidence. Then they're like,
Oh
oh, I
man.
think you got lupus. Really? You just want me to stress out so bad I'm going to have a heart attack? No, but
Well,
they
thankfully,
won't eat. They won't even touch your oral health unless you're 100%. So,
yeah.
like last year, I ended up just saying, you know what, screw it. I'm going to hire somebody. I'm going to get my benefits. I'm going to get teeth. And I did this last July. I barely
Mhm.
got my teeth removed in March.
Nope.
4 months later, still don't have
Wow.
any teeth in my mouth. I
Dang.
mean, I got fitted for dentures last Friday.
Well, hopefully it's a quick turnaround.
Well, it's been about a week so far. We'll have you come back in 4 weeks, so a month.
So before we get out of here, is there anything you'd like to share with people that are thinking about joining, or guys that are kind of fresh into the service right now?
I would suggest make sure you have adequate and duplicate copies of your medical records and make sure you take care of your teeth. I mean, it's not like I didn't take care of my teeth, but it happens. I think if you served in the military, you should get at least like a copay for dental care because if your dental is messed up, the rest of your health is going to suffer. It
Well,
really
and
is.
they put such an emphasis on dental care when you're in. Like you can't even deploy without having your mental care taken,
No,
well,
you
your
can't.
dental stuff. So it's kind of crazy. They put all that emphasis on dental, but then when you get out, there's so many hoops you got to go through to be able to get that benefit. It's kind of ridiculous.
Like my cousin, he did 20 years in the Navy. He retired. And he's calling me and texting me all the time. I need to get that 100% so I can get that dental care. I mean, I can try and help you the best I can, but I mean, I'm trying to work for the same organization that helped me, but I don't even know if they're going to choose me to work for them. I mean, I have no clue.
Right. So
I would absolutely love to help other veterans and stuff like that get the proper rating
mhm.
that they actually deserve. I'd love that. I It would just make my day if I could just help one person. And
Well,
like I also go on TikTok on occasion too. And me and another
mhm.
veteran, he served in the Navy, Army, and the Air Force. And we just try and
Oh wow.
help this younger generation to the ins and outs and what it's really like and studying for the ASVAB and like he writes books and stuff like that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like your first
You,
duty station, preparing for the
mhm.
ASVAB, first deployment, stuff like that.
You may be interested in the path that I'm going down. I've got with my VA in Montana, and I am going to get certified to become a certified peer support specialist. And then I'm going to volunteer with the VA. And then once a position comes open, I'm going to apply for it. It's not the same as helping out with their benefits package, but you're still there having conversations with guys, helping them when they're having a bad time. And that's the path I'm going down. I start my certification process tomorrow is when I start it. All my
Okay.
online courses, and the VA is helping me with all that. They're the ones taking care of it. All I got to do is pay for the state license. That might be something that you could look into. Is doing peer support. Maybe not, but I mean, you're already doing that in your own way. With TikTok and talking to the younger guys, you're you're pretty much already doing that. But
In a
what?
sense, yes, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, you're right now sharing your story with me and everybody that's going to listen. That's part of it.
I mean, I'm not
I
going to
mean,
lie or anything, but it's been a rough road for
yeah,
me personally. After like finding out that the people, family members that I thought would be there and everything
mhm.
were just like, figure it the fuck out. I'm
Yeah.
like,
That's I have the same experience in a way, but that was all prior to the military for me. My mom and dad, I've always had support from them, thankfully. From that, I'm kind of the black sheep. And I always have been, and I'm fine with that now. When I was younger, I used to say it was no big deal, but I think it caused issues. Looking back on it, I think I got some issues from it,
well,
but
growing up
now I'm
back
good.
then was a totally different scenario than some of these kids have to deal with right now. Yeah, it's a totally different world right now.
Nope, man. I try to keep my kids off the screens. And one thing that I learned with my son here recently, me and my wife did, is we took his phone away from him for a day because he was getting really irritable and really he was turning into a little shit. And so we took his phone from him, and it was like he was having withdrawals. It was bad.
Oh, yeah.
It was bad.
Like these kids are so addicted to these tablets and phones and everything. It's
Hmm.
unreal.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
we need
Yeah.
to go back to dial up internet just to fuck with them
Oh
for a few
no.
days.
Oh, it would kill me, man. God, that would kill me.
Oh, it would kill me too. But
Oh man.
just to fuck with a kid for a day, though, with that dial
Right.
up internet.
Let them listen to a
And wait
modem
till
for
a
a half
phone
hour.
call. Wait till a
Yeah.
phone call comes in.
Right. Right. or mom's got to make a phone call. Oh, get off the internet! I got a call. Yeah. God,
No,
that was
but
so.
if you want to jump in any of these, try and help this younger generation. I mean,
No, absolutely.
I, I can send you a message or whatever when we're doing it, and if you're available and all that stuff.
If I'm in a spot where I'm able to, I absolutely will. And matter of fact, what's all your socials where people can find you? And I'll
RV
post
Life
them in the
Nick.
description. RV Life Nick.
RV. Yep.
Okay. That's TikTok, YouTube, or just TikTok, or
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I have a Rumble account. I haven't posted
okay.
anything on it yet, but all my socials except for Facebook, and that's like my private little thing.
Right. Well, so is TikTok your main thing that you use?
I switch back and forth on the streaming thing in between TikTok and Clapper.
Oh, I've never even messed with Clapper. I don't even know
I
what
jump on there
that
every
is.
once in a while.
Okay. Well, down in the description, I'll post your TikTok, and that way people can find you.
That are very interested in hearing this information as well. And I'm going to
Oh
try
yeah.
and send some other veterans your way too, so they
Well,
can
if
talk.
if they want to chat and have a conversation and share their story, then by all means, I'd love to talk to them. I'd love to talk to him. But yeah, we're a little over an hour now, so we should go ahead and bounce out. Is there anything you want to say before you go? Or
No, we're good.
all
I
right.
think we kind of talked about everything we need to talk about for this session.
The fast life, the fast living. They see the ambition, they know I'm past driven. Look, we are not the same, this is not a game. I've been swerving through the city in and out of lanes. Yeah, cause if I see it, then I want it, then you better know I got it. Ain't no options, I'm about to do the damn thing. I'm an outlaw, you can never catch me. I'm in first place, you can never. These are the moments, only got one life. This is your moment, whether wrong or right. You're your own enemy, your own enemy, your own enemy. Yeah. When I fall, I keep running. Feel the pain, but I love it, yeah. You know I'm built for it, you ain't gotta ask twice. You ain't by that fast life, 100 on the dash with the cash light. You ain't by that fast life, big dog status with your stats like. You ain't by that fast life, just know 100 duffers at the bag price. You ain't by that fast life, 6 speed, yeah, I'm smashing on the gas. It's a fast life. It's a fast life. Keeping it moving, don't switch up my code. Life full of circles, we out the A4. It's a fast life. Look, yeah, I'm about to ride it till the wheels fall off. Yeah, I'm about to run the game, I ain't never dropping off. Let's be talking about a bag, put a duffel on the dash. Yeah, I'm really about to swerve. Heavy foot up on the gas with it. Trunk drags with the cash in it. Passion it. Long range when I'm passing it. All drive, I ain't stopping unless I'm crashing it. And even that wouldn't stop me from going after it. These are the moments, only got one life. This is your moment, whether wrong or right. You're your own enemy, your own enemy, your own enemy. Yeah. When I fall, I keep running. Feel the pain, but I love it, yeah. You know I'm built for it, you ain't gotta ask twice. You ain't by that fast life, 100 on the dash with the cash light. You ain't by that fast life, big dog status with your stats like. You ain't by that fast life, just know 100 duffers at the bag price. You ain't by that fast life, 6 speed, yeah, I'm smashing on the gas. It's a fast life. It's a fast life. Keeping it moving, don't switch up my code. Life full of circles, we out the A4.